It's amazing that a single YouTube video could have started all this. That silly video Mother recorded of me playing my cello at the church picnic. When you commented, I first saw the username DJPone3 and the picture of that messy-haired party animal Punk, and I was shocked that you would be the type to ever respond to a video of a cellist playing Beethoven. At least, I was stunned you would respond positively. You were the 324th view. I'll never forget that number. I looked at the only comment on that video for hours, on and off, and wondered how to reply.
Rad, girl. You make the cello talk. You're cute, too. Hope you post more. First sub.
I would look from that comment to the small number 1 beside the subscribe button over and over. Finally, I decided to play it safe. Thank you, I wrote, and since you asked so nicely, I suppose I will post some more. Then a winky face. I typed and retyped the words, "You're pretty cute yourself," but always deleted them. Before I knew it, I had 100 videos, and every one of them had your comments on it. Your comments became more playful, and my responses became more flirtatious. That December, just before Christmas, I checked out your channel. Techno music and dubstep and remixes are not my cup of metaphorical tea, but I subscribed anyway, praying you would be notified. On the very next video I posted, playing some selection of Handel, I think, you commented and assured that I would sleep with a smile on my face.
Thanks for the sub, Tavi.
The months rolled by, and my subscriber count grew. Before long, I had 1,000 people watching every video, leaving posh comments about my skill, my taste, and my technique. But in the midst of the classy art profile photos and multinational usernames, there was always a single bright blue profile image that I looked for. And despite dozens of comments about my skill, yours were the only ones I read more than once. I'll never forget the day that it all changed. The day you found my Twitter and messaged me. Just a simple,
"Hey there,"
with a smiley face. It wasn't a surprise that you found me, since I used my real name, but the nerve it took to do so was impressive. I certainly never would have made that first step. "Hi, how's it going?"
Surprised?
You asked. I was. Less surprised, more happy, I wrote back.
Me too. Very, very happy.
My heart nearly stopped when you said that. It's so scary for a girl to ask another girl out or admit feelings back to them. You're never really sure, I suppose, whether or not the other person is straight. But you did it. Of course you did.
So, your profile says you live in Ohio. I'm coming that way for a convention. You want to hang out?
I read your message the entire night on repeat. I was so scared to respond, so scared that you hadn't meant it. I thought if I had waited long enough, you might clarify. I thought perhaps you would say,
I meant to get to know each other.
or perhaps,
I'd love to be your friend.
but no. The icon just kept glowingly showing that you are online. With somewhat of a start, I shook my head, realizing it was 3 in the morning, and that you had sent your message at 9. Yet your icon kept showing that you were online. I quickly typed my reply, and sent it before I could take it back. I would love that. You saw it immediately, and I was shocked you were even awake.
Awesome. You free Saturday?
I was. I would have been free any day you wanted to see me. My mouth hurt from the grin that I suddenly realized I had. I never really smiled or laughed much before you. It honestly doesn't feel like there was much of anything in my life before you. That Saturday was a blur until I got to the convention center. Driving the hour it took to meet you in Columbus was worth it. I would drive 1,000,000 hours to see you, if I could just see you now. That first night sitting in the lobby waiting, I felt more nervous than I ever have. I didn't know what you would be like, or if you'd even like me in person. Messaging was one thing, but to meet face-to-face was quite another. I must have checked my makeup 100 times in the 10 minutes I sat waiting for you, and my hands had practically ironed my dress. I felt like I looked ridiculous no matter how hard I tried to look good, but in hindsight, I think I did look good. If I hadn't, you wouldn't have wanted me. Then you showed up. You walking through the door awakened me. It was the true beginning of my life. Even then, I knew that you were my destiny. I think I loved you the first time I saw your face. That incredible, cheeky smile made my heart physically ache. I almost couldn't breathe. Yes, there's no doubt about it. I loved you in that moment. Vinyl, do you remember the first thing you ever said to me? In person, I mean. I don't. I used to. But I do remember, about 2 months later, something else you said to me. I still remember that night we went camping. The night you made love to me for the first time. You lay there next to me by the dying bonfire and held me close. I still feel bad. After you said it, I couldn't immediately say it back. You said you loved me, and I just sat there gaping. It wasn't that I didn't want to say it back, but I was too stunned to form those words, or any words. But when I did, you stole my heart all over again with that smile. I have to make a confession, though. I only told you I had been with other people because you said virgins were boring, because they didn't know anything. You'll never know all the research I did, or the lengths I went to seem like I knew what I was doing. I guess it worked, but maybe you knew I was a virgin, and you were just too nice to say anything. I'm sure I'll never know. I'm sure I'll never understand now. We were together for 2 years, and in that time, we fought. We said things we never meant. I was so afraid of losing you, and I was so afraid of you finding someone else. And I know I wasn't always clear about that. In fact, I don't know that I ever told you that, but I should have. I know I should have told you, but I was so scared. You'll never know the fear of losing an amazing woman like you when you're just a mediocre-looking, annoying girl like me. Does that sound familiar? 'Cause it's true, Vinyl. Right after our 2-year anniversary, we fought. I think you thought I was better than you in some way. I think you genuinely believed that other girls wanted me. Well, I'll still probably be unable to convince you now. But the truth is, no one else interests me at all. No one else ever has. But for 2 years, I watched as you grew more and more jealous. The screaming matches we got in, where you would throw your voice out from screaming that you knew I would cheat on you because you lived so far away, and then dissolve into tears that you were pushing me away. And you were. I don't think you knew that I understood that fear, but with every argument, I resented you more. I resented how you would make love to me when you would come over once a month, and I would forget all the arguments and rude things we said. I resented how you would never call me a bad name, and how you loathed yourself because of me. I wanted you to hurt me. I wanted you to be angry with me instead of accusing me and blaming me. I know what I did was wrong. But you badgered me all the time as if I would ever cheat on you. Living far apart doesn't mean I lost interest or ever wanted anyone else. But you kept accusing me. What else could I do? Oh, that's a stupid question. Don't worry, I already hate myself for asking it. I hate myself in general. I lied to you, and I said things to hurt you, and I wanted to hurt you because you didn't trust me. I'll never forget that conversation as long as I live.
I know you've been with other girls. You couldn't be faithful to me all these months.
I would never cheat on you, Vinyl. I love you.
Oh yeah? What about that girl you're hanging all over in your Twitter pic?
Lyra? She's just a musician I know.
Yeah, right. Why would I ever think you'd be faithful to a punk like me? You deserve better. Why wouldn't you find someone better?
2 years of that. 2 years of hearing almost those exact same words, every argument. And suddenly I snapped. Of course I found someone else.
What?
No, you're right. You say it all the time. You accuse me of cheating constantly. Why shouldn't you know? Of course I've dated other girls, because you are not enough. I despised myself even as the words left my mouth. When you said you loved me no matter what, with no conditions, I don't think you'd ever imagined I could be so vindictive. I don't think you'd ever even considered the possibility. In some demented way, I wanted to hear your response. To this day, I wake up in a cold sweat, hearing your tone of voice in my every nightmare. You wouldn't. I just couldn't let it go, though. Yes, why shouldn't you know the truth? You wanted this to happen. All you ever do is bitch about how I'm going to be unfaithful. Well, now you've gotten what you wanted. I hated you at that moment. I was so tired of never being enough, never being trusted. I just wanted to be trusted. I just wanted you to love me like I felt I should be loved. It wasn't until you were gone that I realized your jealousy was your love. It wasn't what I wanted, but it was love nonetheless, and I threw it away. It was hard the rest of the day to hear you scream yourself hoarse, to hear you call me things I never dreamed you'd call me in my worst nightmare. I could have diffused it, I could have told you it was a lie, but I wanted to watch you hurt. I didn't even care how you degraded me, how you sobbed that you thought that I was better than this. After all, if you thought I was better, then why would you constantly accuse me? Maybe you thought I wouldn't cheat, but I was too weak to resist someone else. I'm really not sure. I was sick. I was evil. You would tell me not to talk down about myself, I'm sure, but I only say that because no good person could ever have done to you what I did and enjoyed watching you cry over it. I even laughed at you. I laughed at you. Why the fuck would I do that? And the funny thing is, you called me a whore. You insulted everything I stood for. You told me that you hated me for what I did, but I can't remember any of it in clarity. All I remember vividly about that argument was the vile way I treated you. I was just so sick and tired of you questioning me when I had been gone for any length of time. I was fed up with being accused of cheating, with the constant need for validation. Then you said something in passing, not even considering the weight of it, when all the insults had just fed my false allegations that I flung at you of emotional abuse, of being power-hungry and controlling, of treating me like property. That's when you said it.
You'll never know the fear of losing an amazing woman like you, when you're just a mediocre-looking, annoying nothing like me. And now I did it. Now I lost you.
My tired, icy heart shattered. And then you left. I called you, Vinyl. I called for days. I begged you to pick up the phone in 20 or 30 voicemails until your voice box was full. I pleaded through thousands of texts. I looked through them yesterday. There were literally thousands. And you just left me on red with every single one. I apologized so many times, but I knew nothing could fix what I did. I was an awful girlfriend. I should have and could have just assured you. I knew you were insecure about yourself, and I knew that your worst fear was losing me. You told me 1,000,000 times. But I was always so irritated when you needed reassurance. I know that's why you started getting angry. Of course that's why we started arguing. You needed assurance, and I thought you shouldn't have needed it. I wanted you to be secure in us, like I was, so I felt betrayed when you needed it. I thought you were supposed to be the strong one. I didn't realize that there really aren't strong ones in relationships. Just two people supporting each other. But I know it now. If I could turn back time and unsay everything I said and undo everything I did, I would. But I can't, Vinyl. I just can't. I know you'll never believe I lied. You'll always believe I cheated, and that's fair enough. I know you'll never come back, and you'll never even respond to me again. I've decided to close my YouTube account. I won't ever be posting here again. I just hope that by some stroke of God you see this before it's gone. I know you've moved on. I saw your profile picture change. I hope she's really nice. I hope she loves you like you deserve. Like I couldn't. I just hope you understand that I miss you. And I love you. I will always love you. You always said you didn't think your comments meant anything when you first started leaving them on my videos. But they meant something to me. You meant something to me. Goodbye, my DJ.
Octavia sat back in her desk chair and stared at the screen of her computer. Her eyes were bloodshot and ached to shed more tears, but there were none left inside of her. The ruddy and messy college dorm was dark, as she had not yet turned on even a single lamp, and the sun had nearly set. She looked over the screen where her video was processing. She had simply titled it, "Goodbye." It was a long-standing agreement between Octavia and her girlfriend that they would never use the term goodbye, because it was so final. Even during their last meeting, Vinyl had never used those words. The young girl only used it now because she knew this was her last chance. Even though Vinyl would never take her back, it was all she had left. There was no description, no tags, no hashtags. It wasn't meant for other subscribers, but she knew hundreds or maybe even thousands would comment. She really didn't care. Only one commenter meant anything to her. The video suddenly updated, declaring that the processing had finished. Octavia hesitated for just a moment before continuing to finalize the video. She skipped adding end cards and checked that there was no offensive comments, then made it public. Octavia sat back, watching the Creator Studio, refreshing the page every few seconds. A few comments and likes started trickling in. With a deep breath, she opened the video. It was the regulars, with sweet, supportive comments about love and life, sympathy, and their own stories. She smiled a little at the encouragement, but one more check showed that the video had no comments from her beloved raver. She sat back with a sigh, resigned to the truth. The video had been on the longer side, but more than enough time had passed for the first wave of viewers to comment. Vinyl always watched her videos as soon as the notification came through. With another sigh and a sad laugh to herself, Octavia knew the truth.
She isn't even watching anymore.
She closed the window and put her computer to sleep, then crawled in bed. Octavia could see the outside world through the curtainless window. The room grew darker by the second as the last rays of the sun vanished. She was so exhausted from how hard she had cried earlier that she was already drifting off to sleep. A soft buzz jolted her awake. Her phone lit up. She had a new message. Sleepily, she picked it up and unlocked the phone. Glowing bright green were half a dozen messages, which were all indicated as being sent months ago. But below them, in blue, was a new message sent only seconds before. It simply said,
I thought we said no goodbyes.
Octavia's eyes lit up, and a smile spread across her face. Before she could respond, another text came through.
I'm coming to Columbus for another convention. Want to hang out?
Octavia didn't even have to think.
I would love that.